Hi, this is Stephanie, and you're listening to At Home with AI, relatable AI for regular people. Today I'm going to be talking about something kind of controversial. How do you train AI to write like you? And I'm coming at this from an interesting perspective because I actually do not like using AI to do writing for me. I kind of feel like I think with my fingers on the keyboard. I actually like the process of writing. But I know a lot of people are doing this, including a lot of people I respect. And it's especially useful in a workplace context where you have to write a lot of content or you have to constantly be communicating to different audiences. This is a great one for those of you using Substack because I'm specifically going to talk about how to train AI to write like your Substack. I was curious how hard it would actually be to train AI to write like me and not only get my tone, but also the way I structure paragraphs, the type of punctuation I use, and maybe get some insights about what I'm doing specifically on Substack. So I give you the exact step-by-step process in my Substack. That's at homewithai.substack.com. Again, at homewithai.substack.com. So if you're on Substack, it's actually pretty easy. You go into your publication settings and you'll find an import-export menu item. There you can export your data. It might take a couple of minutes, but you will get a zipped folder with your entire publishing history that you can download. So once I had that file downloaded, I double-clicked on it to unzip it. And then I looked inside. I did notice my drafts were there as well. So I did delete my drafts. And I also deleted a couple of CSV files. What I had at the end was a clean set of HTML files, one for every one of my posts, and I was ready to go. I tried this in Gemini and in Claude, and I found that Claude was the winner, so I'll talk you through how I did it in Claude. One of the reasons I like Claude is that I could attach all of my posts. Gemini had a limit of 10 files. Also, Claude just seemed to be a little bit more insightful about noticing some of my patterns, and I like the way it structured my style guide. So here's what I did in Claude. I attached all of my files to a Claude chat, and I told it something like, I'm going to share a collection of my Substack posts. I want you to analyze them carefully and create a detailed style guide that captures how I write, my voice, my sentence structure, how I open and close posts, how I use formatting, what I avoid, and any other patterns you notice. Be specific and include examples from my actual writing. So Claude came up with a really great, thorough analysis. It noticed, for example, that I often open my posts with a personal anecdote. It noticed I preferred parentheses instead of dashes. It noticed my use of white space, my short paragraphs, and it had some insights about my tone. Even if I don't want to use AI to ghostwrite for me, I found it helpful to see that document, to hear my own voice articulated back to me. It also made me question some of the decisions I'm making, like, do I want to start every post with an anecdote? It's not really something I was doing consciously, so it was interesting to see that called out. In my post at homewithai.substack.com, I do share that prompt. Here's how to take it to the next step. So if you're using Claude, you can actually take that style guide and install it as a skill. I did this actually just in that same conversation with Claude. I said, can you create a skill that can write based on the style guide? And it gave me a one-click install. A skill is just basically a reusable prompt. You could do something similar in a custom GPT or a Gemini gem. How do I use that in Claude? Well, I would go into my chat and there's a little plus sign on the bottom left. When you click that plus sign, you can go into your skills and select a specific skill. So the skill has the style guide in there along with a prompt that Claude wrote that basically says, write in Stephanie's voice. So I have a challenge for you in the post on my Substack. Go read that post and try to guess how much of the post was written by Claude. I'm looking forward to hearing your guesses. This is At Home with AI, and until next time.